I want to try to dispel some of the myths that have been created by some of the arguments that have occurred around the election. I think the first thing to be said is that we have got to get away from this idea that Respect had areas where it was strong and areas where it was weak. Of course there were areas where we were stronger, but if I just give you a couple of statistics, I think it will hearten us in the coming campaign. If you take our strongest area, City and East, we got about 24% of the vote, and if you add to that the northeastern area, we probably got about, if you put the two areas together, about 38% of the vote last time. That leaves 62% of the vote that we got from all of the other areas of London. And what I have said in every single meeting that we've had to discuss the coming campaign is that if we simply think that we can do well in this election by concentrating in Tower Hamlets, in Newham, in Hackney, in Waltham Forest, then I'm sorry, we are making a very, very big mistake. That we have to fight this election in every single one of the 32 boroughs, in every single one of the 14 GLA constituencies, because what is absolutely clear to me from those statistics is that if we can raise our percentage of the vote in some of the areas where we have been weakest, then we can actually do far, far better in the areas where we are perceived to have been weaker. And I think it's important that we understand that we are fighting right across the board. And those statistics from the election last time, I think, prove that. Now, I think enough of statistics, because you know, they are dry as dust and they're useful to sustain an argument. But I think far, far more important than that. And I want to echo what Kat just said. I teach in a sixth form college just up the road from here. And I, every day, go into college and confront students who are desperate to be able to fulfill their own potential, to be able to succeed, and are confronted themselves by a world in which privatisation, greed, and a whole number of other backward ideas conspire against them. And yet, despite that, and despite the odds that are stacked against them, they succeed and they come through it with flying colours. And I think what they need, what they want, what they're crying out for is a political perspective, a political set of ideas which runs counter to the notion that privatisation is the only way forward, that greed is good, that all you have to do is look after yourself. I think that especially amongst young people, there is a real desire for collective action, for looking after each other, for not putting yourself first. And I think that our campaign, and Lindsay's campaign for mayor, the campaign for the GLA, can link those aspirations to a whole set of socialist politics, of politics that are progressive for people in London, but also progressive in a much more general sense that can give everybody hope and can be worth fighting for. And I want to end by saying this. I don't think we should be looking back over our shoulders at the problems. Yes, we've had them, we've been honest about them, and probably, you know, I'm as honest about them as anybody else is. But if we carry on looking back over our shoulders, then we will not take advantage of the potential that young people, especially in London, represent for us in the future, but also the extent to which our whole range of policies can strike a chord with the vast majority of working class people in London. And I believe if we can do that, we will do extremely well, both in the mayoral election and in the GLA elections. It's up to us, and let's be positive in the way we approach the campaign.